Honesty is often praised as a virtue, but in real social dynamics, it comes with a cost. When you are honest with everyone, you give people access they didn't earn, and unearned access always gets misused. Most people believe honesty builds respect. In reality, mystery does. The more people know about you, the more familiar you become. And familiarity slowly erodes authority and perceived value. Not everyone listens to understand. Some listen to collect information. They remember your weaknesses, your doubts, your past, not to help you, but to position themselves above you later. Oversharing doesn't create connection. It creates familiarity without respect. When people feel they fully know you, they stop measuring their behavior around you. Boundaries weaken quietly. Every explanation you give invites judgment. The more you justify yourself, the more people believe you owe them clarity. And power never explains itself excessively. Honesty without discretion turns into exposure, and exposure creates vulnerability. Once people know where you stand emotionally, they know where to apply pressure. This is why powerful individuals speak selectively, not because they are dishonest, but because they understand timing, audience, and consequence. Silence is often a strategic choice. Truth delivered too early or to the wrong person loses its value. Information becomes leverage, and leverage once created is rarely released willingly. People don't respect raw honesty. They respect controlled honesty. What you choose not to say often shapes your position more than what you reveal. Once you learn to filter truth, to delay it, to protect it, honesty stops being a weakness. It becomes a tool, used only when it benefits you. Transparency feels safe, it feels ethical. But in social dynamics, it removes friction too early, and friction is what filters intention. When you give clarity freely, you skip the test of trust. Some people don't seek connection, they seek advantage. Your honesty gives them a map, how you think, what you fear, where you hesitate. Information is never neutral. Once shared, it changes positioning. Those who listen carefully often aren't listening with empathy. They're calculating future leverage. Transparency removes uncertainty, and uncertainty is what keeps people respectful. When they fully understand you, they stop approaching carefully. Familiarity replaces restraint. This is why your struggles get remembered. Your doubts get replayed. Your honesty becomes reference material used later, often without your presence. Exploitation doesn't look aggressive. It looks casual, subtle remarks, shifted tone, moments where your own words are quietly used against you. People rarely exploit strength. They exploit access. And honesty without boundaries is unlimited access. Powerful individuals understand this early. They reveal layers slowly, not to manipulate, but to protect positioning. Truth is released in stages. When transparency is earned, it builds loyalty. When it's free, it invites misuse. The difference is never emotional, it's structural. This is the hidden cost of openness, not betrayal, but repositioning. And once position shifts, respect rarely returns on its own. Honesty stops being virtue the moment it removes mystery. People respect what they can't fully predict. When your reactions become obvious, so does their confidence around you. Predictability feels harmless, but socially it lowers perceived authority. When people know exactly how you'll respond, they stop adjusting themselves. This is where honesty shifts role. It stops building trust and starts creating expectations, and expectations quietly become demands. Once expectations exist, people feel entitled to your consistency. Your boundaries feel like betrayal. Your silence feels suspicious because you taught them access. Honesty also invites comparison. They remember who you were. They measure who you are, and any deviation gets interpreted as weakness. This is why growth confuses people. They don't adapt, they resist, because your honesty locked them into an older version of you. Social power isn't loud, it's ambiguous. Those who speak less leave room for projection, and projection always favors the unknown. Too much honesty collapses distance, and distance is what preserves respect. Without it, familiarity replaces discipline. People don't consciously downgrade you, they adjust unconsciously. Tone changes, effort reduces, courtesy fades quietly. This is the real liability, not truth itself, but timing. Honesty without strategy erodes position before you notice. Many people confuse privacy with lying, but silence is not deception. It's selection. You're choosing what deserves access, not hiding who you are. Deception distorts reality. Privacy preserves structure. One manipulates perception, the other protects positioning. Power always understands the difference. Not everyone deserves context. Access must be earned, not assumed. When you explain yourself to everyone, you surrender leverage. Privacy creates ambiguity. Ambiguity creates respect. People adjust their behavior when they don't fully understand you. That adjustment is power. Explaining too much feels polite, but politeness doesn't command authority. Restraint does, and restraint is silent. Powerful people rarely over-clarify. They let others sit with uncertainty, not to dominate, but to prevent familiarity from eroding respect. Privacy also protects evolution. When fewer people know your plans, fewer people interfere. Growth needs silence more than validation. Those who demand full access often feel entitled to influence. Privacy removes that entitlement without confrontation. You don't owe clarity to curiosity, only to commitment. That boundary defines maturity, not secrecy. Privacy isn't hiding truth, it's pacing truth. And pacing is how authority remains intact over time. Silence isn't the absence of confidence, it's the presence of control. Those who speak less force others to listen more carefully. That shift changes the balance. People fill silence with assumptions, and assumptions reveal more than words. When you stay quiet, others expose intentions without realizing it. Over-explaining lowers perceived status. It signals anxiety about being misunderstood. Authority doesn't chase understanding. It allows clarity to arrive slowly. Silence creates space. Space creates gravity. People lean in toward what feels grounded, not what constantly demands attention. When you don't rush to respond, you control tempo. Tempo controls emotional direction, and emotional direction decides influence. Silence also tests others. Those uncomfortable with it reveal insecurity. Those who respect it recognize strength immediately. Controlled silence removes emotional hooks. There's nothing to grab, nothing to twist. That makes manipulation ineffective. Power speaks when necessary, not reflexively, not defensively. Timing becomes the message. Silence doesn't mean withdrawal, it means observation, and observation sharpens judgment without exposing intention. Those who master silence rarely lose leverage because they never rush to give it away. When people push you to explain, it's rarely about understanding. It's about control. Information shifts power, and they want it tilted their way. Questions can be tools, not curiosity but extraction. The more you speak, the more leverage you hand over. Some people talk to connect. Others talk to position. They listen for weaknesses, not meaning. Silence disrupts their strategy. When you answer everything, you become predictable. Predictability invites manipulation. Power preserves uncertainty on purpose. Pushing for explanations is often disguised as concern, but concern doesn't demand access. Entitlement does. When you resist the urge to clarify, you interrupt their script. They expected justification. They received composure. People who need control struggle with silence. They fill gaps aggressively, revealing impatience and intention. Silence forces recalibration. They must adjust their behavior without guidance from you. That adjustment restores balance. You don't owe explanations to pressure, only to alignment. Everything else is optional. When people realize you won't be pushed to talk, they either respect you or reveal themselves. Confrontation creates resistance. Silence creates reflection. When you stop reacting, people reveal themselves without realizing it. Some grow uncomfortable. Others become impatient. A few grow respectful. Each response tells you exactly who they are. Silence removes emotional cover. There's nothing to push against, no argument to hide behind, only behavior remains. People used to control feel exposed when ignored. Their urgency increases, and urgency reveals intent better than words ever could. Those with nothing to hide don't fear your silence. They adjust calmly. Pressure is always self-revealing. Silence denies them feedback. Without feedback, manipulation loses direction. That's when masks begin to slip. You learn more by watching reactions than listening to explanations. Behavior under silence is unedited truth. Silence creates psychological space. In that space, people either stabilize or expose imbalance. You don't need accusations. You don't need proof. Just time and your refusal to react. Silence ends confusion. It doesn't create it. Clarity arrives when people show you who they are. Calm isn't passivity, it's emotional insulation. Nothing sticks, nothing escalates. That neutrality frustrates attackers. People attack reactions, not presence. When reaction disappears, so does their leverage. Calm removes their entry point. Calm slows everything down. Words lose urgency. Moves lose force. You regain control by doing nothing. Those seeking dominance depend on emotional chaos. Calm denies them chaos. Without it, they lose direction. Calm exposes imbalance. The louder they become, the more composed you appear. Contrast reveals hierarchy without effort. Remaining calm forces others to self-regulate. Few can. That failure shows weakness you never had to point out. Calm also preserves energy. No emotional spending, no mental debt. Power stays intact longer. When calm becomes habitual, people stop testing you. They sense resistance without conflict. Calm cannot be rushed, provoked, or embarrassed. That makes it untouchable. When honesty meets calm restraint, it becomes authority, not vulnerability, and authority invites no exploitation. Honesty isn't saying everything, it's saying what's necessary. Truth without timing becomes vulnerability. Power respects timing. You don't lie by withholding details, you protect structure. Clarity given too early invites interference before stability forms. Strategic honesty reveals direction, not destination, intent, not full design. That balance keeps respect intact. Oversharing seeks relief. Authority seeks positioning. One empties you, the other grounds you in control. Honesty doesn't require transparency. Transparency removes leverage. Power allows visibility without surrendering access. You can be truthful without being available, direct without being open-ended. That boundary defines maturity. Not every truth needs an audience. Some truths exist to guide you, not justify you. Powerful honesty doesn't explain itself. It states, then stops. No defense required. When honesty is controlled, people can't use it against you. They can only adjust. True power is honest, but never exposed. Clear, but never careless. That balance ends exploitation. Their behavior around it. The instant you stop explaining, control shifts. People can't influence your perception. They must respond to your presence instead of your words. Over-explaining signals need. Silence signals strength. When you choose silence, others adjust instinctively without confrontation. Your absence of justification creates curiosity. Curiosity shifts attention. Attention becomes influence. Influence becomes authority. The more people demand explanations, the less you give. Each refusal to justify strengthens your position. Silence becomes leverage. Where words lose power, presence gains weight. People react to what is, not what is claimed. Truth becomes your shield. Explaining less prevents exploitation. People project less. They reveal themselves without pressure. Observation replaces justification. Those who once controlled you through curiosity find no entry. You stop reacting, and they stop trying. Silence reveals character without confrontation. Calmness signals authority. Boundaries reinforce respect. Honesty preserves power. Explaining everything creates chains. Stopping explanation breaks them. And for the first time, you own the space entirely. The moment you stop explaining, everything changes. Control shifts. Respect solidifies. Authority becomes unshakable.